Well, hi guys, and welcome back to LittleVFarm. Today we're in the greenhouse because we were talking about some of the things that we have done this year, with it being like our second full year growing, that we've done to kind of save some dollars because it can get pricey. And so Andrew and I just kind of want to go over a few of those ways today with you.
With that being said, we're going to go ahead and segue into a few things that we do to save money on our homestead. We kind of went over some options, and we have been using a plastic table for storage and for placement of different things here and there. We also use things like plastic card tables, and just trying to find the cheapest option that was functional for our space. And right now, with having this tunnel, it's nice to be able to have the flexibility of the back of the greenhouse having some walking pathway as well as the front. So you can still bring a wheelbarrow through the front or back as an option, but we still wanted to be a little intentional on having some flexibility and mobility with rearranging and being able to move things around if we needed to. But we got the beds filled. We don't really foresee getting anything heavy in here in the future. If we do, we'll be running through the front side, which is fine. But we actually are using just some 2x6 boards. It's a 2x6x8 board. It's not pressure treated. And then we have some cement blocks as well. These guys are usually like $3.50 at your local hardware store, or your big box hardware store at least. And then the 2x6s, I mean, that's what I built my beds on. And they're pretty cheap too. Usually I think they're like $4-5 a piece, maybe. I could be wrong. But it's close to that. And so, you end up with I would say like a 20 or $25 table. It's 8 feet long. It's just long enough to put the cell trays on where you don't feel like it's leaning off or on. We probably will get some braces like we did for the greenhouse, or the raised beds, and put some braces or mending braces so that they kind of go across. They'll even out the table for us a bit. We'll probably flip it over, have the mending braces in the bottom, but it'll just create some more stability. And so, it works for us. It's a great space. And so we put two up on the back of the polytunnel. It's really nice to be able to have this space to put our cell trays on. It doesn't really block any sunlight in terms of our raised beds because it's in the back of the raised beds. Sun comes on this side, so we don't have any blockage from these guys. Typically, during the winter, the sun will come over closer to this side of the house, but it's still not enough to be able to block anything. So it really is functional for us. You can walk through, it's comfortable, it gives us plenty of space to expand if we need to. Another thing we use to kind of nickel and dime and save money where we can, so that we can invest into the things that we think are important, are, these pods. These guys are free when you buy transplants. Not everyone buys transplants. Respect anyone's game who can grow everything from seed. But if you do buy transplants, take the cells, don't throw them out. You'll be able to use these pots. You can transplant your smaller 72-inch cells that are about 1 by 1 inch into something like this, and it can increase the longevity before you need to put it into its permanent home. And that's really helpful when you have a dozen tomato plants and your beds are still kind of getting woken up from the winter. You still haven't inoculated or amended anything, or let's say your weather's not where it needs to be and you can't put it out yet. It's just a little bit of a life expander here. And then, we have been using the same cell trays for since we've started growing, and that's nice to be able to use that year after year. You just have to be careful of how you're kind of getting your cells or your seedlings out of the cell trays, because sometimes they can be a little finicky. Our local greenhouse actually had some of these plastic trays for sale, and they were much cheaper than, I guess, the typical like burpee set that you would get. We found those in Walmart, things like that, for $6-7. Our trays seem to be a little thicker quality. They kind of work for what we want to grow, and I'm really excited to actually show you guys that when we get there. But these cell trays are just a bit bigger as well, so we won't have to force some of our smaller, peppers and tomatoes out as fast. They'll be able to sit in there just a tad longer, which is nice to be able to have that little bit more of, growing matter and water retention ability within each cell. So that's really good.
So just wanted to show you guys too. I talked about it a little bit in our garden tour video that we did. But these guys we got at the same greenhouse that Andrew was talking about, that mass greenhouse I told you guys about. And, you know, same thing, you get really excited because you see seedlings and yours maybe haven't taken off yet, or you've just started and you're like, oh, I just want to get things going. I want to get vegetables. And so like you'll be grocery shopping at Walmart and see that you know, they have their seedlings out and you want to buy them so badly. And I am just the one person this year that is going to ask you to just wait and like look around. Even, I'm not telling you not to buy starts. We definitely buy them too. It's not that. I just look around because like I know not everyone has an Amish greenhouse near them. But like for example, this 4-pack of these was like $2, whereas the same, you know, like 4-pack or a small thing, a small start from Walmart are almost triple that. So just want you guys to consider, it's another way to save a few dollars, is try to have some, you know, willpower. I know it's really hard right now, but that is another way to try and save a few extra dollars while you're going into this garden season. Okay.
So really quickly, I just talked about the trays and just wanted to show you. I'm so excited to kind of use these even for this season and moving forward. But we were able to get these trays and make them for probably a little under $3. So probably half the price that you would buy these at like a Walmart or anything like that. These guys are just a bit bigger in terms of like your typical 72-inch cell tray that you'd get. Just wanted to show you the difference. There. So yeah, basically, I mean, you could see the difference here. It's great to be able to have just a little bit more soil per cell. I mean, it's nice to have the option of growing multiple cells in case you wanted to make sure you increase your chance of success. It's always a numbers game and growing, so you want to make sure that you're giving yourself the highest chance by growing quantities. It's such a luxury to have a seedling in a cell tray for, just that extra 2 weeks maybe, when you don't really have space to put it in the ground yet, or your weather's not working with you and you can't put it in the ground because of frost or whatever reason. It's just nice to have that flexibility. Like, these cells are great for peppers, tomatoes. I'm probably going to be using it for most of our seedlings going forward, so it's nice to be able to have this at such a low cost. So it's not just about the seedlings, guys. I mean, just look around, make sure you're doing your due diligence. With increased with inflation and the tariffs and things like that, guys, things are not going to get any cheaper, and you want to make the most out of your dollar. And by doing a little research, looking at more than just Walmart or Amazon, support your local nursery. You're probably going to be able to find some good deals on plastics, supplies, growing matter. I mean, all of this stuff we typically don't buy from Walmart, and it's just nice to be able to know that we're saving and also supporting local business in certain cases. I'm not saying every time, but it's just nice to be able to, feel good about where your dollar's going.
So those are a few different ways. I know it's not like breaking news for everyone, but just some of the ways that we try to save, or at least like cut back on expenses year over year, because we are in this for the long haul and it adds up quick. But we do have a few like other little ways that we try to do things that may not necessarily apply to you, but it could be beneficial.
Yeah, honestly, like we talked about, Amish community or Mennonite community may not be close to you, but search for your local nurseries. They're gonna have deals. They're gonna have some cheaper sales usually, or better quality in terms of seedlings. As far as supplies goes, we also do a fair amount of our shopping at our local MFA, as well as the Mennonite nurseries and other local nurseries. Typically, you're gonna find your best quality compost. Your cheapest, if you do use peat moss or coco coir or perlite, vermiculite, those kind of inoculant or amendment ingredients to make your own soil or to add to a different soil. We feel that we always find our best deals at places like those. So if you guys have that local to you, those farmers associations are local to each state. So I
Mm-hmm.
would just try to look for your local.
Yeah, you can just Google it,
Yeah.
honestly, Farm Association. The other thing too to consider, and don't be like, I know we're doing this in bulk. We're obviously on a larger scale. You might just be, you know, doing food for fun, or you might just have a, you know, like one plot little garden. If you're gardening in any size, something to consider still is looking in bulk. I would suggest everyone, doesn't matter what size you are, look in bulk for different things like soil, compost, because you'd be surprised how much you're actually going to use. I can't tell you how many repeat purchases we've done with bag soil
Yeah.
where we went and we're like, okay, we have enough for all the beds. And then we need to double that by the time it settles and everything. So just don't underestimate the need for bulk because you might need it. And if you do go bulk, you'll save always. Bulk is always going to be cheaper. So that's another, something to consider.
And one last thing, guys, tip for end of season. So if you guys do make it to the end of the season and still want to grow next season, and you have the ability to bulk buy, go to your local stores, buy the clearance fertilizer. It will be fine the
Yes.
following year.
Yes.
Do you know what they do with those extra fertilizers when they don't sell them? They put them on the shelves the following year. It's going to be fine. Please buy fertilizer in bulk, granular especially. Some of the liquid fertilizers, you want to be careful with those. They may have different expiration dates, but granular fertilizer is going to be great. Don't worry. Buy it on clearance. Buy it on markdown. Buy it so you can inoculate your soil the following spring, and you will thank yourself for saving. You could save hundreds of dollars with that, hundreds easily.
Yeah, last year we were able to grab a lot of that end of season. We have like our entire year of fertilizer for that. So it's like
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, we're super lucky to be able to do that. And with getting the new beds this year for the greenhouse, that was super clutch to be able to inoculate the soil that we put
Yeah.
at the bottom of that bed because they went through an entire season. We grew tomatoes, peppers, things like that. We need to put the food and the nutrition back into the soil so the microbes will stay with us and feed our next round of roots and plants.
So in the video that I shared with you guys yesterday with a huge asterisk, I said we officially are done and ready to go for 2025 garden season. We have started all of our seeds and we are in the just maintaining stage right now. And that, again, huge asterisk because we know we're going to do more. We know we're going to buy starts and we actually have seeds that we are going to start today. So that's already a lie. But as we are realizing that the garden planning is coming to an end, it was time to clean up the greenhouse. And we really were looking around and we were proud of ourselves that we didn't go crazy this year, that we didn't go crazy and buy a bunch of stuff we didn't need. And so we thought we would share a few tips with you guys. If you feel like any of these tips were useful for you today, make sure that you hit that like button so we know. And let's go ahead and start a thread in the comments. I want you guys to drop in whether you're a new gardener or you're super experienced, any ways this year that you are trying to save money out in your garden. Any of those tips could be super important for someone else, and we are always looking for ways to improve here. So please, if you have any suggestions on how to save any additional dollars on your garden or homestead, please go ahead and put that below. So we appreciate you guys so much. As always, we are really excited to see what you have going on in your gardens. And I want to hear how those marigolds are doing. We sent seeds to a bunch of you guys and I've gotten some pictures and some emails back. But please don't forget, we want to know how your garden is doing as much as we want to share how ours is doing with you. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and turn on those notifications so you don't miss all of our content this growing season. And of course, especially right now, literally more than ever, do not forget our motto here at Little V Farm: anything grows if you try.